My girlfriend said, "You're too clingy. I need more independence." So I gave it to her. Stopped calling, stopped planning dates, stopped trying. 3 weeks later, she was crying that I didn't care anymore. I said, "I thought this was what you wanted." I, 28 male, thought I had it all figured out with Ray, 26. We'd been together for 3 years, lived together for 1. I cooked dinner most nights, planned weekend trips, remembered her sister's birthday when she forgot, the whole 9 yards. Then came the talk. "You're suffocating me," she said one Tuesday night over the pasta I'd made. "I need space, independence. You're always there." I asked what she meant. She rolled her eyes like I was being dense on purpose. "You text me good morning every day. You want to know where I'm going. You plan these elaborate dates when sometimes I just want to chill. So you want me to care less? I want you to stop being so clingy." Fine. Message received. I stopped texting good morning, stopped asking about her day. When she mentioned wanting to try that new Thai place, I just nodded instead of making reservations. When Friday rolled around and she asked what we were doing that weekend, I shrugged. "Nothing planned. Thought you wanted independence." She looked confused, but pleased. "Oh, yeah, exactly. Thanks for listening." 2 weeks in, things got interesting. She started coming home later without explanation. Her phone was suddenly password protected. When I walked into the living room while she was texting, she'd quickly flip her phone over. Classic signs, right? But here's the thing. Her demand for space had flipped a switch in my brain. The hurt was there, a low hum beneath the surface, but it was being overridden by a cold, clarifying anger. I started seeing our relationship objectively for the first time in years. I wasn't being clingy. I was being a good boyfriend to someone who didn't appreciate it. So when she stayed out until 2 a.m. on a Wednesday with work friends, I was already asleep. When she canceled our anniversary dinner last minute, I ordered pizza and watched the game. When she stopped wearing the necklace I gave her, I didn't mention it. 3 weeks after our talk, she broke. "Do you even love me anymore?" She was crying on our couch, mascara running. "I thought this was what you wanted. I wanted space, not this. You don't care where I go, you don't plan anything, you barely talk to me." "Rachel, I'm doing exactly what you asked." "No, you're being petty." That's when I laughed. Actually laughed. "I'm being petty? You told me I was suffocating you. I gave you space. Now you're mad I'm not suffocating you?" She went quiet. Then, in the smallest voice, "I didn't think you'd actually change." "What?" I wanted to see if you'd fight for me. Prove you cared." I stared at her. 3 years. 3 fucking years, and she was playing games. It was the excuse people give when their real motives are far worse. "Get out." "What?" "Pack a bag and go stay with your sister. We'll talk tomorrow." She left, sobbing about how I was overreacting. I spent the night thinking, really thinking, about all the times she'd tested me, the jealousy she'd try to provoke, the way she'd criticize how much I cared, then get upset when I pulled back even slightly. But there was more to unpack, and I had a feeling I was about to find out exactly what. Update 1. Things got worse before they got better. The next morning, Rachel texted me 47 times. They ranged from "I'm sorry" to "you're an asshole" to "please just talk to me." I let them pile up while I had my coffee, my hand steadier than I expected. I responded once, "Come by at 6 p.m. to get your things." She showed up at noon. "You can't just kick me out. I live here." "Actually," I said, pulling up our lease on my phone, "only my name is on the lease." Her face went white. See, when we'd moved in together, her bad credit was an issue. I put down the entire security deposit and first month's rent from my savings, so my name went on the lease alone. The plan was to add her once she paid me back for her half of the deposit. She never did. Thank God for my own financial boundaries. "You wouldn't." "I am. I'm giving you 30 days legal notice. That's more than required." That's when she dropped the bomb, likely thinking it was her trump card. "I've been seeing someone else." I took a slow sip of coffee to keep my expression neutral. "I know." "You? What?" "Rachel, I'm not stupid. The late nights, the protected phone, the sudden need for independence. How long?" She broke down. Through tears, she admitted it started a month ago, with Jake from her gym. The cliche was almost funny. She'd been planning to monkey branch, keep me as backup while testing things with him. The "you're too clingy" speech was supposed to make me try harder, to reassure her of my devotion, while simultaneously giving her cover to explore things with Jake. So your test was just a lie to cover you cheating? It's not like that. Explain how it's not like that. She couldn't, because it was exactly like that. Here's where it gets good. While I was giving her the space she wanted, I wasn't idle. I was paying attention. I started looking at things I'd previously ignored out of trust. Does Jake know about me? I asked. She looked confused. What? Does Jake know you have a boyfriend? That you live with me? Her silence was answer enough. Let me guess. You told him you're single. Maybe mentioned a clingy, controlling ex you're trying to get away from? Bingo. The look on her face was priceless. Here's what's gonna happen, I said. You have 30 days to find a new place. Take whatever's yours. Leave what's mine. And Rachel? Tell Jake the truth, because if you don't, I will. You don't even know him. Jake Morrison, personal trainer at Elite Fitness, drives a blue Challenger, lives in those apartments on 5th Street. Her jaw dropped. Like I said, I pay attention. She grabbed some clothes and left, but we weren't done. Not by a long shot. Update 2, the Jake situation. 2 days later, I got a DM on Instagram. Jake Morrison. Bro, we need to talk. My first instinct was anger. This was the guy, but what was the point? He was just another pawn in her game. We met at a coffee shop. He was exactly what you'd expect. Impossibly white teeth and a form-fitting athletic jacket that looked expensive but definitely wasn't warm enough for the weather. He looked more uncomfortable than tough. He got straight to it. She told me she was single, he said, looking genuinely pissed. I don't mess with taken women. That's not my style. I believed him. We compared notes. It was worse than I thought. She'd told him she'd just gotten out of a controlling relationship, that her ex was obsessive and wouldn't let her move on. She'd painted me as some psycho stalker while she was literally going home to me every night. When did she tell you the truth? I asked. Yesterday, after you gave her 30 days notice. She showed up at my place crying, saying her crazy ex was kicking her out illegally. I showed him our text conversations, the lease, the timeline. It felt surreal, sitting there with him, but it was a necessary evil. Fuck, he said, running a hand over his face. She played us both. Yup. What are you gonna do? Already did it. She's got 27 more days to move out. After that, she's not my problem. Jake was quiet for a minute. Then, she's been practically living at my place the last week, brought over a bunch of stuff, clothes, jewelry, some electronics. Something clicked? What kind of electronics? iPad, Nintendo Switch, some camera equipment? My blood ran cold. My iPad, my Switch, my camera. Those are mine. The words came out tight. For all my outward calm, I wanted to punch a wall. Shit, man. I had no idea. You want me to? Don't let her leave with them. I cut him off, my voice low. Just put them aside. I'm not dealing with that right now, but they're mine. Don't let her take them. Got it, he said, nodding. We exchanged numbers. It wasn't a friendship. It was a temporary and frankly weird alliance. That night, Rachel called from Jake's phone. What did you tell him? The truth. You should try it sometime. He's barely talking to me. He says you showed him proof I was lying. Because you were lying. I wasn't. It's complicated. It's really not. She hung up. 20 minutes later, Jake texted me. She's packing her stuff, says she's going to stay with her sister. She take my electronics? Tried to. I told her they were staying here until you two figured it out. She wasn't happy. Good man. The next morning, I woke up to something interesting. Rachel's sister Emma had tagged me in a Facebook post. Can someone explain why my sister showed up at 1 a.m. with garbage bags full of clothes talking about 2 different guys ruining her life? Because I'm confused. I didn't respond, but I did screenshot it. Rachel had been texting me all night from her sister's phone. Apparently, Jake had not only kicked her out, but also blocked her on everything. She was begging me to reconsider, saying she'd made a mistake, that she loved me, that she'd do anything. Therapy, I texted back. Individual therapy, not couples. You need to figure out why you do this. So you'll take me back if I go to therapy? No, I'm saying you need therapy regardless. I'm done. What followed was a meltdown. She accused me of being heartless, of planning this, of probably cheating too. The projection was astounding. Of ruining her life, of turning Jake against her. Then came the threat. I'll tell everyone what you did to me. What did I do exactly? You emotionally abused me. You abandoned me when I needed space. You made me feel unloved. I screenshotted that too. Then I did something I'd been thinking about. I made a Facebook post of my own. Not mentioning names, just a simple, funny how asking for space and independence in a relationship suddenly becomes emotional abuse when you give someone exactly what they asked for. Petty? Maybe. Satisfying? Absolutely. The comments were gold. Friends who'd watched me plan dates for 3 years. Who'd heard me stress about making her happy. Who'd seen me bend over backwards for someone who was secretly calling me clingy to justify her own behavior. But the real kicker came from an unexpected source. Update 3. The roommate revelation. Emma messaged me privately 2 days after my post. Your post is making the rounds. Can we talk? There's something you should know. We met for coffee. Emma looked exhausted. This isn't the first time, she said. I saw your post and then her messages. It's the same script. What? Rachel, this isn't her first time doing this. She did the exact same thing to her ex, Marcus. My coffee suddenly tasted bitter. Explain. Emma pulled out her phone, showing me old texts between her and Rachel from 2 years before we'd met. The pattern was identical. Rachel getting bored, finding someone new, creating a conflict to make the guy seem like the bad guy, then playing victim when it all blew up. I tried to warn Marcus, but in a subtle way, Emma said. He didn't get it. I thought maybe with you it would be different. You were so good to her. Why didn't you warn me more directly? She sighed. Would you have listened? And she's my sister. I kept hoping she'd grow out of it, but seeing your post and Jake's name coming up, I realized I was just enabling her. The gym membership Jake works at? I've been paying for it. She told me she needed it for her mental health because you were becoming controlling. I laughed, a sharp, humorless sound. When did I become controlling? Right around when that guy from her work, Ryan, started flirting with her. He got transferred, so she moved on to the next one. It's a cycle. The patterns were all there. I'd just been too in love to see them. She's done this at least 3 times that I know of, Emma said. She finds someone stable, gets bored, creates a narrative where she's the victim, lines up the next guy, then burns everything down when it doesn't go perfectly. And you're telling me this now because she's my sister and I love her, but she needs to hit rock bottom, and she won't get help if I keep making her bed for her. I'm done covering for her. She left, but not before showing me one last text. Rachel had sent it that morning. Thanks for nothing. When I'm homeless, it's your fault too. Always someone else's fault. Jake had messaged me too. He'd found out Rachel had been flirting with multiple guys at the gym, telling each one a different story. To one, I was abusive. To another, we were broken up. To a third, we were in an open relationship. Getting tested for STDs tomorrow, he wrote. You should too. Good advice. I made an appointment. That evening, as I was packing Rachel's things in boxes labeled I'm not a monster, I found a journal. I hesitated for a second, but then thought, screw it. It wasn't the master plan of a criminal genius. It was worse. It was pathetic. Page after page about how bored she was, how I was too perfect, and it made her feel bad about herself, how she needed excitement and drama to feel alive. She wasn't orchestrating breakups. She was just writing down her chaotic feelings and justifications after the fact, framing herself as the tragic heroine in a story of her own making. I photographed a few pages, not to share, but for my own sanity, proof that I wasn't crazy. Day 30 came faster than expected. Rachel showed up with a U-Haul and 3 guys I didn't recognize. I had her stuff neatly packed. Jake had dropped off my electronics the day before. The exchange took 10 minutes. No drama, no confrontation. Is that it? She asked as they loaded the last box. What else would there be? I don't know. Anything. Some emotion, something to show you cared. I cared for 3 years, Rachel, I said, my voice even. You just weren't paying attention. She left without another word. Later that night, I got one final text from her number. You'll regret this when you're alone forever. I poured myself a scotch, sat on my wonderfully quiet couch and thought about that. Would I regret choosing peace over her chaos? Would I be alone forever? Maybe. But at least I'd be alone on my own terms. At least I wouldn't spend another 3 years cooking dinner for someone who was texting other guys under the table. Jake and I still have a weird, occasional text-based rapport. He's dating a nurse who actually likes that. He texts her good morning. Emma checks in sometimes. Rachel is with some new guy and has told him she's never been in a serious relationship. Emma gives it 6 months. Me? I'm good. Better than good. Turns out when you stop pouring all your energy into a black hole, you have a lot left over for yourself. I've been hitting the gym, a different one, cooking elaborate meals just for me, planning trips to places I want to go. My apartment is quieter now. No more drama. No more games. And I learned something. When someone tells you you're too much, it doesn't always mean you need to be less. Sometimes it just means they aren't enough.